I'm gonna tell you something, guys. Here's a real big secret. I didn't mean to make this video about this, but I'm gonna tell you right now. Guys, if you try it all, just consistently try. You're gonna screw up a couple of times. But if you try it all, it is so easy right now, especially right now, because everything's virtual. It is so easy to get in the top 1% of performers in anything you do. It's 2025. What promises did you make yourself and that you aren't gonna keep? Here's another promise, dude. Did you promise yourself that you weren't gonna talk to your ex again? Did you call her? Did you sit there and you scroll through her IG? You have to figure out what she's doing and who she's dating, even though you told yourself you weren't gonna do that anymore? The easiest way to not go to the gym tomorrow is to not go to the gym today. Let me say that again. The easiest way to not go to the gym tomorrow is to not go to the gym today. So the easiest way to go to the gym tomorrow is to go to the gym today. Make sure you hit subscribe and turn the notifications on. Do you ever have that feeling of FOMO? Like everyone else is having a better time than you, driving a better car than you, making more money than you, better shape than you, and dating a hotter girl than you. If you ever have that feeling, that's what I'm here for. That's what I specialize in. What's going on, guys? It's Michael Sartain here, and I am in one of the very, very few jewels here in Los Angeles. This is Runyon Canyon Park. You guys, have you ever seen those influencers? They're on top of a hill and they're taking a picture while they're hiking, and you can see all of Los Angeles. This is where they are. They're in Runyon Canyon. It's just a little bit north of Hollywood in the Santa Monica Mountains. So the reason why I came up here, by the way, it's a beautiful place. I'm not gonna lie to you, it's very quiet when you come up here. Like you see occasional like dead body with like a needle sticking out of it, but like that's, for Los Angeles, just 1 or 2 dead bodies is actually pretty good. So the reason why I wanted to come out here is to talk about this one concept. So reason why I'm walking, and this is something that I've done recently, is I'm doing 75 hard. And in 75 hard, I'm supposed to drink a gallon of water a day. I'm supposed to do an outdoor workout and an indoor workout. It doesn't matter that I'm doing 75 hard or whatever it is that you're doing. I just kept making excuses for over a year for why I am not gonna do this. I kept making excuses for like, well, I'm gonna start in January, I'm gonna start in March, or I'm gonna start when I get my diet in order, I'm gonna start when I have more time. And I'm just telling you guys right now, like the reason why I'm bringing out this video right now, it's coming up on 2025, is you have a decision right now to make a resolution. The resolution is, hey, what am I gonna do to fix my personal life, my health, my wealth, my relationship, my mental state of happiness? What am I gonna do to fix those things? I'm gonna read more books, I'm gonna change my diet. Well, the diet is a really important one. Am I gonna do those things? And then what happens is there's this voice in your head. David Goggins calls it your inner. There's this voice in your head that tells you, well, we'll just start it later when we're more settled. I always feel like right now my team is asking me to write a book, and I'm like, and I keep procrastinating because I want to find like a ghostwriter. I don't want to sit there and write a book. But it's one of these situations where it's like, you're always going to find a reason to procrastinate. The human mind is always looking for a way to save energy. It's always looking for a way to do tomorrow what you could have gotten done today. The reason why, like, I'm gonna tell you something, guys. Here's a real big secret. I didn't mean to make this video about this, but I'm gonna tell you right now. Guys, if you try it all, just consistently try. You're gonna screw up a couple of times. But if you try it all, it is so easy right now, especially right now, because everything's virtual. It is so easy to get in the top 1% of performers in anything you do. Acting, making YouTube, e-commerce, you want to get into, construction, building. But by the way, roofers make it. I didn't realize, two jobs I didn't realize made a ton of money. Guys who own these roofing companies, and linemen. Here in the state of California, I met this one guy, he's a lineman, meaning he goes up he changes the transformers on the power lines. This dude makes $700,000 a year as a union lineman in California. He says he works a lot of hours, but can you imagine that? He makes 700, that's crazy. There's a bunch of different jobs that you guys can get. Like, again, I've said this before, if you have a job right now, you're watching this, this is free content we put out here on YouTube. If you're watching this, you're like, Michael, I don't even make $50,000 a year. I don't even make $60,000 a year. My first suggestion to you is, if you're not making more than you would being like an Uber Eats driver or an Uber driver, you need to switch to that, because at least in those jobs, you can put an AirPod in and you can listen to audiobooks, you can listen to classes, you can watch YouTube videos that will help you get you closer to your goal while you're working. So while you're working, you're also investing in yourself. That's why I'd highly recommend taking a job like that. So that's the first thing I'll tell you. Second thing, there's a bunch of really cool jobs. I know this job comes up a lot, a phlebotomist. Like if I was broke and I had to start from zero, dude, phlebotomy actually seems like a great way to make a living. For those of you who don't understand, those are the people who take blood samples. So like you go to LabCorp or something like that. That's a really high paying job that doesn't require an advanced degree. I've heard Alex Hormozi talk about this gig, but there's a bunch of jobs that you can take early on where you can make a lot of money or make a pretty good living when you're pretty young without getting an advanced degree. But there might be some difficulty to them, right? I know this one guy, he owns his own plumbing company, and the guy makes like $500,000 a year because a lot of people don't want to be plumbers anymore, but it's like a necessary job. What is the job that you could take to improve your financial situation right now while you're sitting there solving a problem? But here's the most important part, because the main part of this video is about procrastination. What is it, the thing that you're waiting for that you think is going to work better tomorrow that you can't do today? Often we'll get guys, they'll join Men of Action and they'll be like, well, I don't want to do that this year because next year I'm going to make more money. And by the way, people always think when they make more money, they're going to have more time. It's the opposite, just to let you guys know. Unless you actually buy back your time, shout out to Dan Martell, read that book, Buy Back Your Time. Until you actively go out and figure out how to delegate and fire yourself from certain tasks in your life, when you make more money, you're not going to have more time. You're going to have less time. Okay, you're going to have less time. More money, more problems is a true statement. All right, I pay my accountant more now than I made in like 3 months as a U.S. Air Force pilot. A U.S. Air Force navigator. I pay my accountant more money now in a year than I made, just me alone, than I made when being a navigator, a U.S. military officer. So it's really insane when you consider these ideas of like, so how much are you willing to procrastinate? So here's a couple things. One of the greatest way I found to get over procrastination is to gamify it for yourself. So for me, one of the ways that I gamify it is, or one of the best ways I've seen to gamify one of these concepts is like 75 hard. Andy Frisella's 75 hard. So you do an outdoor workout for 45 minutes. You do an indoor workout. It doesn't have to be indoor. It could be 2 outdoor workouts. They need to be 3 hours apart for 45 minutes. You drink a gallon of water. You read 10 pages of a physical book. Sorry, no audiobooks, which is great for me because there's a bunch of physical books that were in my apartment that I never got a chance to read, that I'm getting to read right now, like the Evolutionary Psychology textbook, New Science of the Mind by Dr. David Buss. I never was able to read that because there's no audio version. And then you need to take your shirt off, and you need to take a picture of your results, and then you also need to stick to a diet. And it doesn't matter what the diet is, just as long as you stick to the diet. So you do these 6 things, you do them every day for 75 days, and there becomes like this momentum after a couple days where you don't want to screw up, and it's really hard. Like Thanksgiving, I had to start over on 75 hard because it was impossible. Like I was with my family the whole day. I wasn't able to get to 2 workouts. I was sitting there eating food. I fell asleep in front of the Cowboy game. I didn't get a chance to drink a gallon of water. So I had to start over. That's what happens. You start to gamify it. Another way you can gamify it is you can write down what your goals are, and you can give your friend some money. I would give my friend like $50 or something like that, $100, and say, hey man, if I have not started a YouTube channel by March, you get to keep that money, and you get to humiliate, you just talk shit to me the whole time because I didn't do this thing that I said. One of the things I'll tell you guys, when I started my podcast back in 2021, do you know who I told about my podcast? No one. How many of you guys know someone right now who keeps telling you about a podcast they're going to start, or keeps telling you about a business they're going to start, and they've been telling you about this business or this podcast for years and years? They keep telling you about it. They keep trying to speak it into existence, which, by the way, is hokum bullshit. You don't speak anything to existence. I don't believe in that shit at all. They keep trying to speak their podcast or their fortune or their favor into existence. You want to know when I started my podcast who I told? No one. I didn't speak my podcast into existence. I just did it and told no one about it. So is that something you can do? Can you, like, one of the problems people have is they'll start doing some workout routine or something, and then they just got to tell everyone about it. And my whole point is, can you just do it first and then tell everyone about it later? Can you use more evidence and fewer words? Because one of the things that you guys have to understand with the procrastination deal, let me tell you the third thing. So the first thing I said before was like to gamify it. And the second thing I'm going to say, the other idea is I want you to consider this. In your mind, use whatever you got. Is there somebody in your mind who didn't believe in you? Is there a girl who rejected you? Was there a job where they fired you unjustly? They didn't listen to your side of the story. Is there a situation where you just know you kind of got the raw deal? For me, a lot of times I'll look at those people and I'll remember, maybe some of you guys got dumped by a girl and you see her new boyfriend. For me, the thing that would fight off procrastination is looking at all the people that are in the same space I'm in, and they're having more success than me, doing less. Like, those people motivate the shit when I see them. I don't hate them. I don't have anything bad to say about them, but there's so many people I look at and I'm like, man, like this guy's been in the YouTube game for 2 years and he's just crushing it. I'm not jealous. Well, maybe I am a little jealous, but it's more like I'm competitive. I look at those people and I say to myself, if I procrastinate how am I going to feel in 6 months? That's probably the best thing you can do. Say, how am I going to feel in 6 months if I procrastinate today and 6 months from now I'm still fat? How am I going to feel in 6 months if I procrastinate today and in 6 months I'm still broke? How am I going to feel if I procrastinate today? I told everyone that I was going to do a podcast every single week, and I did and I was going to, and then I quit after 4 weeks. For me, guys, I don't know if you know this, I did 63 podcasts in a row before I missed a week. And I haven't done one in a while, and just to let you guys know, and probably it'll be out by the time we do this, we're rebuilding our studio. Sticky Paw Studios is no longer there, so we decided to build our own studio, small studio in my apartment, and so we're building the studio now. And once that gets up, I already have like a bunch of podcasts lined up. I love doing my podcast. It gives me a ton of energy. I love doing it. But also the other thing was these Osmo videos. Man, this DJI Osmo that I'm using right now, let me highly recommend you guys, if you want to start making content the easiest way possible, let me recommend this. You can take this into a lot of public scenarios, a lot of nightclubs will let you bring it in, restaurants, whatever. My audio is coming from right here. Very easy solution in order for you to make a lot of really, really awesome content. So going back to what I'm saying, now it's 2025. What promises did you make yourself and that you aren't going to keep? Here's another promise, dude. Did you promise yourself that you weren't going to talk to your ex again? Did you call her? Did you sit there and you scroll through her IG? You have to figure out what she's doing and who she's dating, even though you told yourself you weren't going to do that anymore? Did you promise yourself you were going to get to the gym every day? Did you promise yourself when you talked to your trainer and he said you were going to get a certain amount of macros in? Did you want to weigh 180 pounds? Did you do 180 grams of protein or whatever he said? I know maybe it's 1.5, 2. I don't know. Different trainers say different stuff, but did you eat the amount of protein? Did you get your macros dialed in like you said? If you want somebody to guilt you, because guilt is a powerful motivator, bro. Guilt and FOMO and vanity are powerful motivators. If that's what it takes for you to get your fat ass off the couch, then that's what you need to use. But if you want someone to guilt you for not following your New Year's resolutions, that's what I'm here for. You have to take action today. Listen to me now. Those of you who are considering this, the easiest way to not go to the gym tomorrow is to not go to the gym today. Let me say that again. The easiest way to not go to the gym tomorrow is to not go to the gym today. So the easiest way to go to the gym tomorrow is to go to the gym today. Because you create this momentum. Over time, you create this momentum of success. The easiest way to get over procrastination is to reframe it in your mind, where you feel nothing but, like for me, when I don't go to the gym or don't work out, I actually feel this pang of guilt. It's literally guilt. I almost feel sick for not going to the gym because I've gone so many days in a row. When my team says, hey, Michael, we need you to make this video, we need you to do this call, we need you to be here at this time, and I don't do what they say, or even the idea of not doing what they say, I feel literal guilt. I've actually retrained my mind to when I procrastinate and I don't do what they ask, I feel literal guilt for not doing what they ask because I've changed the way I see these things in my mind. I don't say I got to do it, I say I get to do it. So a couple of things that has really helped me as far as procrastination is concerned. Number one, it's one of the top books I've ever recommended. It's one of the top books I've ever read in my life. Gary Keller from Keller Williams Realty wrote a book called The One Thing. And in that book, he goes over how you reorder priorities in your life. And when you reorder these priorities, you make the most difficult task, you put it up front. And he talks about having like a 4-hour block where you just work on that one thing. When you take tasks in your life and you order them by importance and you put all of your effort and focus into the one task and crush it, you get through these other tasks, fall into place like dominoes. That has been the single most important piece of advice, because people ask me all the time, Michael, you work, because I still do work for a financial firm. You make this content, you have 3 different shows, right? So you have a live stream that you do personally, you have a live stream you do with Rolo, you have Access Vegas, you have your podcast, you have all these different things you do. How are you able to do that and then also coach 11 hours for your group calls and then like do another 40 one-on-ones per week? How are you able to do that and then do 2 workouts a week, get in a gallon of water, then also host Babes in Toyland, the Teatro parties, the Maxim party? How are you able to do all this stuff? And it's because of the one book I just told you, The One Thing by Gary Keller. Because I put all these things in order, then what happens is, here's the thing. When I look at, hey man, go pay your taxes, get your registration done, go to the DMV, like the things that suck, just consider the tasks on your to-do list that suck the most. If you can write them out, put them in your schedule, you just put them in a to-do list, they no longer have this power over you. I know it's weird, just trust me on this, try it. I just put them in order on a to-do list, And when I put them in order and then I say, okay, this is my one thing for today, I'm going to put all my effort and focus into doing this one thing, all that power that it has over you, that dread, because that's essentially what procrastination is, right? It's dread of having to go on and take on these tasks. That dread goes away. It's like the personality or the actual mass, the inertia of whatever that thing is you're dreading, it goes away because you just put it on your to-do list and you just ignored it. Or not ignored it, but you became dispassionate about it. So number one piece of advice I'm going to give you as far as getting over procrastination, do the one thing by Gary Keller, okay? Along with gamifying it, and then along with going into your mind and saying to yourself, who are the people that didn't believe in me? Or who are the people, like right now, I'll tell you right now, there's a couple of podcasts I've been reaching out to, and I know these people know who I am, and they don't want me on the show, and I don't know why. And I assume it's partially because of my association with certain people, and it's partially because, you know, I don't get a ton of views on some videos. Some videos I do, some videos I don't. And instead of complaining about it, and I'll probably never get on some of these shows, but instead of complaining about it, you know what I do? I come out here and I'm like, I'm gonna make a video today. I'm gonna make a video today that's gonna change people's lives. And if some people don't recognize it, I don't really care, because remember in the last video I talked about this. Like, by the way, there's people staring at me right now, Runyon Kenya. They think I'm crazy for making these videos, but I don't give a f about what other people think. Instead of sitting there and complaining, hey man, I'm not getting the just respect that I deserve. Hey man, I'm instead of sitting there and waiting for people to recognize whether or not I'm talented, instead of doing that, instead of waiting for other people, instead of waiting for the hole to open up, you know, like an NFL running back, he waits for the hole. I'm gonna make my own hole. Instead of waiting for people to recognize what I can do, I'm just gonna make better content. Every day, I'm gonna go, and by the way, I'm doing 75 hard, right? So I'm sitting out here walking. I'm gonna probably walk for about 2-3 miles. I'm gonna, instead of sitting there complaining about, hey, these people don't recognize me. These people don't recognize how talented I am. And this is, some of you guys have done this before. It's like, how come these people don't recognize my incredible idea? Instead of worrying about people, waiting for them to recognize your incredible idea, just take over on your own and make the content on your own. Take over the whole situation on your own, and don't wait for the hole to open up. Make the hole open up on your own. Hey, what's going on, man? How you doing, brother?
Jake.
How you doing, Jake?
Nice to see you. Don't know if you remember me from Owens, but I won the public speaking competition.
Oh, that's right. Yeah. Hey, Owen's coming tonight to Babes in Toyland.
Okay.
You should come.
Mondrian.
Tonight is, I think it's at Academy on Hollywood.
Okay.
You go to Babes in Toyland charity, you'll see. It's funny, I'm hosting and I don't know where it is. It's in one of the, it's always either Boulevard, Academy, Avalon, or Mondrian. One of those four.
I'd love to come. So
okay.
What's the deal? Sign up, get a ticket?
No, just go to Eventbrite and grab a ticket.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay. Thank you.
Hey,
right,
man.
See you later.
Hey, take care, guys.
Thanks so much.
Yep, for sure. Ask yourself the question, right? The procrastination thing. If you guys, I'm telling you right now, man, if you can just get over this one procrastination issue, why it's and by the way, when people ask me when's the best time to start a business, when's the best time to start a YouTube channel, the answer is always yesterday. It's always yesterday. When's the best time to start 75 hard? When's the best time to change my diet? When's the best time to start a new workout routine? The answer is always yesterday. But the next best answer to yesterday is today. It's right now. Man, if you can get over this procrastination idea, let me explain. This is the one thing I want to explain, because remember in the last video I told you, most of the time you guys are going to fail, because you are. Most of the time when you guys have a big grandiose idea to make a ton of money or to become famous, everyone's trying to become famous and make a bunch of money, so you're competing with a bunch of people. But the number one thing that puts you in the top 1% is you just show up. Guys, it's just so important that I explain this to you, man. All you have to do is just show up. All you have to do is give a f. All you have to do is just try, and you're automatically in the 1%. The way society is built right now, we do everything virtually. We get all of our validation virtually. There's several people right now who are making millions of dollars a month and never leave their house. They have barely any motivation for life. Like, when you consider like how much money you can make. So I'm telling you guys, if you just show up and just try it all, you're in the top 1%. I'm not kidding, guys. You're in the top 1%. It is so liberating, because here's the funny thing. When I started this walk, I walked through Mann's Chinese Theater up Hollywood Boulevard. I was actually sad when I woke up this morning, because I got into the problem like scrolling through YouTube, and I saw all these people who like on YouTube were like way younger than me, who had way bigger guests than me, who were doing way better than me, and I started having like some kind of feelings about it. And I started feeling like, damn, man, it kind of sucks that like, you know, I've been in this game for so long and I feel like I'm helping a lot of people, but these other people are just doing so much better. Has that ever happened to you guys? Ask yourself right now. Have you ever looked and you're like, oh man, I just hit 30, and then you have a friend of yours who's driving like a super nice sports car and dating a beautiful woman. You're like, man, I'm 30, this kid's 26 and he's already doing this. Does it ever make you feel some kind of way? Or does it make you feel some kind of way when you see that girl who made $47 million from OnlyFans, $47 million from OnlyFans, and see how young she is? She's talking about she's a virgin. Yeah, she's a virgin. She's sitting there talking about she's a virgin. She made $47 million on OnlyFans. When you see that stuff, does it make you feel down? I want to let you know, guys, if you ever feel down, just come to this channel. If you ever look at other people on social media and it makes you feel down or depressed, if it ever makes you feel like you haven't done enough, or maybe you're too old and life has passed you by, if you ever have that feeling, the first thing I want you to do is come to this YouTube channel, because I'm 47 and I'm telling you right now, life started for me today. Life started for me today. I've never been stronger, never made more money, never had more options with incredible people today. I've never had that before, ever in my life, as much as I do right now. 47 is where I'm started. So now you got to ask yourself, guys, if you ever have that feeling, here's the thing about that feeling of like, man, you're sitting there scrolling and you see all these people, they're doing better than you. They have, look at that nice car that this guy's got. It's like, oh man, I've been trying. Like, I'll tell you, I'll be real specific. I've been trying to get Alex Hormozy on my show. Right? Nothing. I heard nothing from him. And then I saw Justin Waller, who I consider one of my closest friends. He's like, Justin Waller's on an Alex Hormozy commercial. I'm like, bro, it sucks, right? I want Alex to come on my podcast. But do I let that hurt my feelings or not motivate me? Do I let that make me feel sad about different stuff? My buddy Ryan Taraban, man, he's been on Soft White Underbelly a couple times, and my man James Sexton. These guys are doing great. And the thing that makes it depressing is like, these guys are my friends and they're crushing it. But there's no jealousy ever. It's not jealousy. It's motivation. It's like, what can I do to get the type of audience that Ryan Taraban has, the type of audience that Casey Zander has, the type of audience that James Sexton has, like these guys, what the type of audience that Justin Waller has? What can I do to build myself up to get to those places, or even higher? Guys that I admire, like Brad Lee. What can I do to make those things happen? It's not like, when you know what happens whenever I see those guys, I give them a big hug and I immediately want to take them to dinner because I want to learn as much as I can from them. So I take that uncomfortable feeling. You guys remember what I talked about? You scrolling and you feel sad because you see David Dobrik, and he's making, I was reading that he made like $40 million, $50 million on YouTube, and he's dating some super hot girl. You see Jake Paul, he made $40 million from fighting Mike Tyson, right? You see these things and it's just like, man, he's so much younger. Like, oh man, Jake Paul's, 27, 28 years old and I'm 47. It's like, oh man, it's over for me. That's how you feel. Remember, guys, if you ever have that feeling, this channel is here for you. Seriously, make sure you hit subscribe and turn the notifications on. You ever have that feeling of FOMO, like everyone else is having a better time than you, driving a better car than you, making more money than you, better shape than you, and dating a hotter girl than you? If you ever have that feeling, that's what I'm here for. That's what I specialize in. Because what we're going to do on this channel going forward is we're going to transmute that energy into giving to showing up. All we've got to do is show up and be in the top 10%. Man, let me tell you something right now. If you guys, especially whenever when we hire people to work in Men of Action, when we see people, it's very clear to us when guys when they want to show up, when they're not going to make excuses. When you see people who have gratitude for your life. Guys, I'm going to tell you something. I'm going to give you another little tip, because I've given you a few tips on how to get over procrastination. Here's another terrific tip. Ready? There's a guy I want you to look up right now. His name is Nick Santonastasso. Okay? Well, stop whatever you're doing, and I want you to look up Nick Santonastasso. Nick was born with missing 2 legs and an arm. He only has a left arm and 1 finger on his left arm. And Nick, right now, is driving a sports car, dating a super hot girl. Nick, if you look at Nick's situation, and you say Nick is able to succeed in spite of all the things, the hardships that he's had, if you look at the situation with Nick, and you don't immediately have gratitude for your situation, you aren't listening to your inner. You are a bitch. Let me say that again. If you look at Nick Santonastasso and you don't immediately have gratitude for your situation and understand how incredibly fortunate you are just to be able to get on the internet and you look at YouTube videos, just to have the time to do that, if you don't recognize how incredibly fortunate you are and how much opportunity is out there for you, you aren't listening to your inner bitch. Your inner is back here. You aren't listening to your inner. You are your inner. Nick Santonastasso. The other guy's name is Zion Clark. Look up Zion Clark. Zion is he's missing 2 legs. Well, he actually has his legs, but they just never developed. And he won an MMA fight. He's missing 2 legs, and he won an MMA. Bro, I'm telling you guys, if you have you don't have gratitude for your situation, if you get so hot, hoity-toity, and you're like, why am I not dating someone prettier? Why am I not making $1 million a month? Why is my Amazon FBA or my TikTok shop, why are they not crushing it like other people's? If you get into that feeling of like having no gratitude for your situation, if you feel that, it's like, man, I go to my 9-to-5 job and my wife doesn't respect me, or whatever the thing is, or how come this guy's got a nicer car than me? Like, one of the worst situations you can be in is not being broke, but actually being wealthy and surrounded by a bunch of people who are wealthier than you and then being jealous of them. I'd rather be broke, like, honestly. But one of the things, like I said before, I want you to consider how fortunate you are. And if you have a problem not recognizing how fortunate you are, look up this place in Managua where these people live in a trash dump. There's thousands of people. They literally live in a landfill. I want you to look it up. It's in Managua. They live in a landfill. And you're sitting there complaining about the vicissitudes in your life, the turpitudes in your life. Like, I want you to consider, guys, you don't live in a landfill. You don't live in a place, most of you who are watching this don't live in a place where you can't get a hold of clean water. Most of you don't live in a place where you don't have electricity, running water, you don't have any kind of infrastructure. Most of you who are watching this, with some exceptions, live in a place where there is some semblance of law and order and some semblance of like police protection, some semblance of law and order. You guys live in a first world country, you're watching this, you have high-speed internet. Guys, you should be so incredibly grateful for the fact that you have these things. Again, one more time, if you guys are having trouble with this, come to the realization that more than half the Earth's population lives on less than $5 a day. Recognize that if you make $32,000 a year US, you are in the top 1% of wage earners on planet Earth. Recognize that before the year 1850, half the Earth's population died before the age of 5. Recognize that before antibiotics, syphilis had a 58% mortality rate. For those of you who caught a disease back in college or whatever because you went raw, the 58% mortality rate. Understand how incredibly lucky you are to be born today, to be able to watch a video like this, to be able to educate yourself, to become an autodidact. An autodidact, what that word means is you learn kind of these concepts on your own. So like, for instance, me with evolutionary psychology, or when you listen to like Chris Williamson when he talks about evolutionary psychology, he doesn't have a degree in it. He's an autodidact. He learned on his own. Think about all the things that you're capable of learning on your own for free right now. Just understand how incredibly valuable that is and how incredibly fortunate you are to be able to do those things. Okay, one more time. For those of you who are having trouble with motivation, ready? Number 1, go check out Nick Santonastasso. Go check out Zion Clark, okay? Number 2, if you're having trouble with procrastination, the book you're going to read is The One Thing by Gary Keller to get your whole life in order. Go look at those people who live in Managua and look at those people who literally live in a landfill. They have to scrape for food every day in a landfill. Look at those people and then consider how incredibly fortunate. You should cry. Bro, if you don't cry, I don't understand what's wrong with you. Today, I'm actually in Los Angeles because I'm here to host a charity event, a toy drive for kids for the Midnight Mission. These kids, like, I grew up with 2 parents. I am fully recognizing of how incredibly fortunate I am to be in that situation. So now ask yourself, man, whatever the situation you're in, wherever you are, you can start from there. Because like when you think about like Wes Watson making $4 million a month, whatever you think about Wes, the fact of the matter is he was in jail for 10 years for attempted murder. When you think about the fact that like Ryan Stewman went to prison for selling drugs and got out, and now the guy's worth so much money. When you think about all the business failures and all the think about the fact that like even Dan Fleischman, I believe he was an orphan. Like, think about how lucky he was as an orphan to just be adopted by a family in the United States. And now the guy is worth so much money. He's become so incredibly successful. Think about all the things that could have happened to you and these people who have decided, hey, I'm going to take all this chaos and all this mess and I'm going to transmute this into energy. I'm going to transmute this into motivation to where I am going to make sure that I succeed. I am going to have gratitude for the fact that I'm on this planet and I have 2 arms and 2 legs and I'm able to go out there and crush. And even if you don't have 2 arms and 2 legs, you still have the ability, especially with the internet, to go out and crush it, to motivate other people, to sell a product, to solve a problem. You guys are so incredibly lucky. Like I said before, if you need to motivate it with your friends, you need to tell your friends, hey man, if I don't start this podcast, if I don't start this company, if I don't get on this, if I don't start doing this meal prep, if I don't start doing this workout by January, whatever date, you can make a video about me, call me you get to keep that $1,000. Give them something valuable. Let them keep it. If they don't, bro, you get to go on a date with my girlfriend. If I don't get this podcast started, you can get that podcast started immediately if somebody did that, right? So whatever it is that you need in order to motivate yourself, whatever it is that thing you need, as I think Alex Ramosi, he said this, he goes, whatever you need, you use it. So for me, I got picked on horribly in high school. right? And I had these skinny little string arms. I had this big, you guys see, I have this big old gigantic head. One of the reasons why people like always debate about how tall I am, I had this long alien xenomorph head, and like my hair is like longer in the front to match my skull. My skull comes all the way up here. Like, dude, from the back of my head to the front, I had to have like a double XL helmet when I was playing high school football because my head is so gigantic. And so you know, it was something I was super self-conscious about. It was one of the reasons why I lifted weights in my upper body so much, because I wanted my body to kind of match my head, right? I was very insecure about those things, and I use that as motivation. And the other thing I use is I look at other people who are either more successful with fitness, with money, with women than I was, and I made up my mind. It's like, I'm not going to sit here and feel sorry for myself. Can you use that feeling of FOMO? Can you use that feeling of missing out? Can you use that feeling of guilt? Can you use those feelings to motivate you, to get you in there, to go to the gym 60, 70, 80 days in a row? Can you use those things as motivation? Or are you going to be the guy who stays in the cave? Just consider your ancestors. The ancestor who felt bad for himself and he stayed in the cave and he accomplished nothing. That ancestor did not pass on his genetics. Are you going to be the one who goes out and takes action? Because remember what I said before, guys, all you have to do is show up. Consider, like, we'll go back to the Pleistocene epic. Which type of person do you think evolution would have rewarded? The one who felt sorry for himself because he went out and tried to catch game to feed the tribe, and he stumbled and he hurt his knee, whatever, he came back limping. He felt sorry for himself and he stayed in the cave for like a month because he felt like he was a failure. Or the one who stumbled, hurt his knee, and then got up the next day and said, no matter what happens, even on pain of death, no matter what happens, I'm gonna try, and I'm gonna keep trying until I accomplish my goal. What do you think the feeling was like for that person when he finally did accomplish his goal? Do you think that there's any correlation, any corollary in your entire life, any analogy in your entire life, anything you could compare in your entire life to being a man living during the Pleistocene epoch, a man who lived in caves, a man who finally came back and after trying over and over again was able to bring food back to feed his tribe? Can you imagine how incredible that must have felt? The dopamine rush. Can you imagine how that must have felt? So now ask yourself, in modern day, who is the person that your evolutionary wiring is going to reward? The guy who sits there and feels sorry for himself, watches a bunch of pornography and makes up excuses for why he's not successful? Or the guy who keeps trying and keeps showing up no matter what? Guys, I'm telling you, I have failed so many times in life. I have failed with women. I have lost all my money twice. I have failed so many times in life. And when I look back, all I can say is I am nothing but grateful for the fact that I had the opportunity to fail and to get back up for a couple reasons. Because once you actually do succeed, it feels incredible, number one. And number two, I can take these failures and I can share them with you so that you don't have to make the same mistakes that I did. I love you guys. Thank you for checking out these videos. I have gotten nothing but positive reviews from these Osmo videos, so I'm going to keep making them. I'm making them so fast that my team can't keep up with them, so this is probably going to come out like 5 weeks after I film it. But I want to say thank you guys. Thank you for all the comments. And if you guys want to be part of a group of like-minded men who hold each other accountable and do not allow procrastination, we also have a high level of integrity. I will not lie, cheat, or steal, nor tolerate anyone amongst us who does. And integrity first, service before self, and excellence in all we do. If you want to be part of a like-minded group of men who are sitting there, who are top performers, who always want to succeed and who don't procrastinate, who hold each other accountable, who have an incredible network and give each other honest feedback in order to help one another, if you want to be a part of that, go down into the description and click the link so you guys can join Men of Action Mentoring. Guys, we have a free group. Well, it's not a free group anymore, but if you guys, we have a group right now where it's $5 a month that you guys can join on School, SKOOL. It's that new app that Sam Ovens and Alex Hormozy have. You go to School and you look up Men of Action Forum. You guys can join it. It's just $5 a month. If you want to join that, and if you guys want to join Men of Action and you want to join our tribe, just go to moamentoring.com, sign up for a demo, and hopefully I will see you guys in the next video.